Yeah, I mean, Bwipo has played it in the past.
He has.
So, yeah, it's definitely like a really strong pick right now. And the fact that you can flex it between top and mid, it makes the champion like even stronger. So, like here, they should just flex the Ornn until last pick.
Yep, we'll see if they do. And it could be that Yamato's dreams come true, or the half of them at least.
Yeah, I like it. The question is, will they last the third pick Xayah here? Because usually you lock yourself in, but I like the Rakan lock in first, because usually teams did Xayah, and that means you have to pick Rakan, which makes you more predictable. Ooh,
Maybe they won't even pick the Xayah.
Yeah.
Maybe they make you think that they want to pick the Xayah.
And they make you pick it yourself, and then they do something
Then maybe it
different.
puts you in a bad position.
Yeah, I like it. This Misfortune third, and I think Misfortune Rakan is also a juicy lane.
There we go. I don't know if it was a mind game or not. It's always good to break that lovers duo up, and Xayah goes to the side of Rogue.
And also breaking the flex Syndra, or right away picking Xayah away here, I think is just a mistake. Because you show where Syndra is going, and it means that you can almost safely put this Ornn into mid lane, maybe pick a GP third, and set up Bwipo for success.
It's a great point.
Yeah, I definitely agree with this. Like, I mean, picking Syndra, like, you have to flex it, but I feel like just picking Xayah on her own doesn't feel that strong to me.
Do you think they got mind game by Fnatic?
I think they did a bit, yeah. They felt pressure because it's like Xayah Rakan, and they're like, oh, we have to pick it right now, otherwise they have a really strong lane. But so far, I would give the draft advantage to Fnatic.
Yeah, which Yamato, you were saying you were worried about their champion pools, but so
on
far
red side
so
is
good.
fine, right?
Yeah.
The Soraka ban on red side is cool. Ezreal looking okay. No Misfortune, which to me signals that this is going to be a top side heavy game with maybe a last pick top, and just send Ornn with the flex all the way. Make sure you have a better top matchup, and
Still be Ezreal
fight it to
on
the
top, but I mean, it's probably going to be in the marksman role. It's not something we've seen from Rekkles as of recent weeks, or I think even the split, but we know it's a classic. And if you're a marksman, you can't play Ezreal, then what the hell are you doing, right? Let's see where this next phase goes. We have a Thresh banned out as well, trying to target the support pool there from Vander, which is safe since Rakan is already locked in. What is a must ban here for Rogue?
For Rogue, it's kind of tricky because the Ornn flex kind of just messes everything up. I think they should target junglers because they don't know where the Ornn goes. I think banning GP maybe is wrong because I think Fnatic really wants a strong top side here with the Ezreal Rakan matchup bot.
Yeah, but at the same time, it kind of... I mean, GP is also like a really strong pick right now. So I guess they just want to deny the potential GP for Bwipo.
Makes sense, yeah. Makes sense.
And we saw earlier from G2 the Ornn Karthus combo. And Karthus could be a potential pick here for Selfmade.
I would like it. Do you think Larssen Karthus matchup is a good one for Karthus?
Depends who's playing it.
So, if it's Selfmade versus Inspired?
I don't know, I would still give the advantage to Larssen.
They're listening to you, man. They're listening.
Yeah.
The Karthus ban.
And with the strats, no Karthus jungle coming in there, so we'll see what Selfmade decides to go for. Of course, he can go for the Elise. He has the Olaf as well, which he likes to play. The Gragas is in there as well, but as you say, there's not necessarily, it's not a Xerxes, right? He's not going to pull out something incredibly weird.
Yeah, I mean, Rek'Sai could used to be a good counter to Larssen, but yeah.
There we go. Called it. Seen a bit more of Rek'Sai.
Are you under comms? You're inside the communication.
Did you make this draft?
I mean, it's just an old school counter, and I actually feel like it's actually not that bad into... If you have Rek'Sai Ornn, you should have an easy time camping the Syndra in this case, because it has no mobility, and Ornn just has such good setup for you.
Oh, with everything banned out, but the Leona slips through.
For sure. Like, I think... Oh, okay. This is crazy. What does Bwipo pick here against the Kled? Because I have no idea.
Wait, set is still open.
Set is open.
Set is open.
Set is open. Oh my goodness, set is open.
How did set make it here?
So I don't know the Kled set matchup, if I'm going to be honest.
I mean,
Do you know anything about it,
over it. Does anyone know?
I mean, I don't have much knowledge about offlane, but I don't know.
Oh, this is a classic
I feel like
matchup
they
that we
would
saw.
have not picked it if they knew that the set was a straight-up counter pick, right?
Yeah.
Or...
It's the Zac top lane.
That's the counter?
Oh, it's actually funny because I saw Bwipo playing Zac top lane with Conqueror, but it was on the new patch with the Sunfire buff, but I'm not too sure.
All right, Xerxes, after you've seen the draft, whose draft would you favor and why?
I mean, I was heavily favoring Fnatic's draft, but now with the Zac pick that I absolutely have no idea what he wants to do.
We should have gotten Alfari on here if we knew that this was going to happen.
I don't think anybody knows about that matchup. It's a Kled against Zac. It's not too common.
It's not canon, no.
I just think Kled is going to be super good here because it's very non-damage heavy on the right side, and Kled loves that. He's going to survive the fight. He's going to remount over and over, and I think this should have just been a Jax last pick. He showed us in the finals against G2 that he could pick Jax into it, and that was the way, I think.
But this is Bwipo. He always keeps you guessing.
Yeah, I mean, right now that the more I look at it, I feel like Fnatic does have a lot of CC, but I feel like they're gonna lack damage if the game goes mid to late. Because Syndra will also be able to cancel the Zek jump. So yeah, I mean, I feel like both teams are kind of even in the early game, but in mid to late game, I would give it to Rogue.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, you're actually right. They are dead on even. They both like to play fast and hard in that early game. Fnatic does die a bit more, and Rogue is a bit more conservative with the way they make plays. Yamato, final word on this draft and final word on the game.
I just feel like Kled is going to smurf. I think Kled is going to smurf big time. He's going to remount and just do nasty things.
You heard it from Yamato. Kled is going to do nasty things. Rogue versus Fnatic, an all-important clash for the top of the standings. The teams are about to hit the rift, so let's head over to our casters for Rogue versus FNC.
Thank you so much, Sharks. That is right. It is a clash for a top of the table position. Right now, whoever wins this game will be able to sit in sole control of second place. It's a battle at the top of the standings, and honestly, the only battle I want to watch is the top lane battle. Kled versus Zach? Are you kidding me?
Oh, I love it. I love it, Trevor. Honestly, like, Finn comes into this, and if you don't know, Finn used to be a Kled one trick in solo queue, so he knows the ins and outs of so many Kled matchups, yet somehow I have a sneaking suspicion he is not an expert on Kled versus Zach in the top lane. I don't know. A lot of one tricks know a lot of matchups, but not against a champion like this. Now, I just did some digging because I heard Xerxes say that he saw Bwipo was playing this in solo queue, so this is going to be Conqueror on the Zach. He is able to stack that up over time. Think of it like, I guess, like some Dr. Mundos I've seen go for the Conqueror, but these top lane tanks that have innate healing that can stay in fights for a very long time will be able to make use of that, especially against the Kled in these longer fights. Now, what you will also notice is that it's not necessarily the Emax you see out of the jungle typically to give you increased range and damage for that elastic slingshot. Instead, it's going to be the W match, which should make a lot of sense up in the top lane for the healing you get from it and the longer fights.
Now, of course, you know I'm the old man on the show, right, Ender?
I am aware.
And you happen to know I'm a fan of my stats. Generally, the more obscure and the less useful, the better.
Yes.
Do you know when the last time was we saw Zach top?
Season 4.
Oh, my man, you are so young and so wrong. It was 2016. It was played by Fnatic in spring, and it was when Gamsu was their top laner.
Isn't that an Overwatch player?
I can also tell you that the win-loss of Zach top is 3 wins, 4 losses in Europe. It has happened 7 times.
All right, we're about to even it up, go 50-50.
That's it. Or 3-5 if it loses. We'll find out. Nevertheless, the bear trap on a rope will pull a giant blobule backwards, and Bwipo's going to be able to get the now kiss moment with the minion, and they keep trading.
Yeah, there are some nice interactions for Kled in this matchup. Of course, when he gets that pullback on the bear trap and rope, we'll apply grievous wounds to cut through some of that Zach healing. Getting through a few other of the runes on the Zach, which I find interesting, at least because he's in the precision tree, he has Triumph, which is going to give you a lot because that's percent max HP restoration. He also has Legend Tenacity too, so we'll be able to be quite mobile in the backline against a whole lot of the Rogue CC.
Of course, they keep trading. Both top laners have the ability to pull the other back. Lots of trading. Those violent tendencies from Kled and Skarl are doing a lot of work, but here comes Inspired. Bwipo's got the passive, remember, so if he's under the tower, makes it a little more difficult to die. There's minions to play with, though.
Yeah, he has minions try and block the Q. Finn is about to remount, so he can tank the tower and then quickly reset it.
All right, Stretching Strike didn't do enough, and Selfmade's presence dissuades any further follow-up. While we are very excited about this top lane, let's very briefly look across the rest of the map. Syndra versus Ornn, boring farm. Bottom lane, let's go, Ender.
All right, well, bot lane, it looks like Rogue maybe want to go for a little bit of boring farm, at least for now. It is teleport, and as I say that, of course, Vander will go ahead and get the jump on through here. It's going to be rather difficult, I think, for them to make a whole lot of proactive plays, pre-level 6, primarily because of the mobility of the Rakan and the Ezreal. So even if you land the E on Leona, which is isn't going to be the easiest thing. Usually what we see in this matchup a whole lot is that unless Rakan jumps forward, he's not going to get stunned by this Leona. So it will only be towards level 6 where the kills do unlock, primarily for Rogue's bot lane. But even then, Rekkles has the cleanse, so it won't be the easiest thing.
Okay, it makes a lot of sense. And of course, talking about Rogue early game and the ability to make plays, Vander stepping forward, one of the things that I've been exceptionally impressed by is there are a lot of statistics that point out how strong Rogue are. On the graphic, you can see goal difference at 15 minutes, 1.5k. Then if you look at times that this team has spent with a major gold lead, having the majority of the gold in the game, 38% of their time, Finn will get pulled backwards. But that's not all. First blood percentage, 75%. First tower, 87%. Look at Rogue pushing all the way into the bottom lane. I'm not done.
Oh, keep going, sure.
Dragon, 87%. All of these other categories first. Team deaths and gold difference, like, this is a team that has the lowest deaths, the highest gold difference. They might just have the strongest early game in the league.
I think you just said that they had like everything and they were first in just about all of it. So, I mean, hey, if you look at how they're playing this early game so far, it definitely lines up with that expectation. I think especially out of the mid lane, you almost always expect Larssen to be picking up a gold lead. Very good at getting those last hits there and winning early on in the matchup. And I think with the change, bringing Hylissang into the roster too, you have a stronger bottom lane. So this team in the individual lanes has looked like they've leveled up throughout the year. And even with plays like we just saw with Inspired and Larssen, looking for the rotation to the bot side, they got a turret plate. They denied Rekkles a whole lot of farm, so it's a very good look for them already.
It really is. Finn is going to chase all the way onto Bwipo. Bwipo needs to use the elastic.
He hit 6!
Charge is available, but Finn decides not to use it. He flashed for the chase. It forces the flash out of Bwipo.
Yeah, Finn really wanted to go for that kill, but he knew his jungler was on the bottom side of the map, so didn't quite end up pulling the trigger right there. Still, he is crushing in this matchup, right? You know, I think with the Q, he's going to outrange Zach early on, especially. He took a lot of favorable trades early, even with Fnatic trying to make moves. Now, Nemesis has ticked over towards level 6, so they have more options. There's no flash onto Finn.
All right, 20 CS advantage in the top lane, but it will be even out by around 10, as Bwipo should pick up most of those last hits. 10 CS advantage for Larssen in the current matchup. Syndra versus Ornn. And Finn is going fishing. Let's see if he can do anything. Just remember the Zac passive under the tower, and Selfmade has the ability to sneak in and shadow this lane.
Yeah, Finn's not going to go too crazy here without a jungler around him, so just has to be careful of a potential gank. Zac is level 6, but it's not the kidnap ultimate anymore. It went all the way back to that old one where he just bounces around and knocks you all sorts of ways. Now, if we're looking at this Zac pick a little bit more, it's very clear he's not winning lane, right? Finn already with a big CS lead, has the Tiamat 2 against a couple of Ruby Crystals for Bwipo. So let's examine it in the overall composition from Fnatic. Fnatic love to play these comps that have a lot of dive tools. Think of the Rakans, the Ornns, the Lee Sins a whole lot out of the jungle for them. They like to go forward. So in a game like this, you're going to have Nemesis, Bwipo, Hylissang all trying to attack Larssen and Hylissang. And if they can get those guys out of the fight early on, that's going to be a really good looking fight for Fnatic.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, Hylissang on a high comfort champion as Bwipo is about to get solo killed. Or not just yet. Let's bounce. And the unstable Mats is doing a lot of work. Dismounted. The minions are helping out. Finn now needs to kill the blobules, and this should just
Nemesis
be a
can TP if he wants to use it.
Time is going to start to TP. This will delay it. Bwipo comes back to life.
What?
Finn isn't done yet. Call of the Forge God comes out. The Mount is first blood goes to Nemesis. The TP to the passive blob. That was dirty.
The bait right there, waiting all the way so that Finn tries to stick around to finish off Bwipo after he gets the revive off. Finn had been crushing in this matchup for so long, but Fnatic with the jungler, with the mid laner roaming on up.
That was fantastic from Hylissang and Vander, but Hylissang escapes with his life. The Ignite ticks him down to below 100, and it's not enough just yet. The control ward denying the vision means Hilly gets jumped on.
Dude, how tilted are you if you're Rogue right now? Finn won the 1v1 in the top lane and couldn't quite finish it off because of a nice teleport. The 2v2 bot lane, Rogue win it as well, but Hylissang just barely able to survive. Now, good news for the squad is that Inspired has gotten the first dragon, has gotten the Rift Herald. So while he hasn't been focused on ganking lanes, he has been looking at these objectives. The question is, can they secure it and then win the fight?
All right, Let's Bounce is not available for Bwipo. He gets tagged, gets stunned, gets locked down, gets Dragon Rage, and he stays alive. Rogue have not found the kills they have wanted. and Fnatic are pulling ahead as far as pressure is concerned. They're still behind in gold. They're behind as far as the Dragon is concerned, but the outplays, that has to play in Rogue's mentality.
Yeah, Rogue's still in the lead right now. A lot of work coming through the top lane and mid lane in terms of overall CS, but those low HP bars, man, they're going to get you every time. Yeah. Looking at the overall gold in this game, you can see very, very even across the board here. So Fnatic doing all right.
Let's talk a little bit about something Xerxes was saying on the desk in terms of like if this game goes later and the fact that there's not a huge amount of damage on Fnatic's side, you know? A little bit of upfront burst here and there, but really, Ezreal's going to take a long time to get through a mounted Kled, for example. So if this plays out and Rogue have this gold lead, you have to be feeling, you know, pretty confident about their chances.
Look, Trevor, I hear you. On paper, Fnatic don't have a whole lot of damage, but let me introduce you to Ornn. This guy can do it all, right? He's got the damage, he's got the tankiness. Like, for a lot of this game, you know, until, you know, level scaling comes through and, you know, Rogue get more resistances and HP, of course, like, he's going to be able to do a lot of damage to the Rogue backline. Selfmade on this Rek'Sai with Halo Blades 2 will have the DPS to try and cut through a Larssen or a Hansama. And that's what I was sort of setting up earlier, is that Fnatic, with this dive, need it to work on the, you know, primary initiation. You need to find those kills, because if you don't get the backline, like, you're going to be getting hit by them and then a Kled too. That's going to be really, really hard to deal with.
Yeah, it will indeed. And Vander finds himself the Zenith Blade into Hylissang, and Inspired has snuck his way up. Dragon's Rage is still on cooldown. Needs a few extra seconds, but I really, really like this ward in the alcove. So if anyone from Rogue had snuck around, Hilly would have been completely aware of it, but here comes Finn as well. The charge is up.
Yeah, so Finn tried to come down here. Bwipo's TP is going to be up in about 10 to 15 seconds, so if Rogue are going to pull the trigger, they do need to pull it quickly. This is something Finn does all the time, too. He completely sacrifices his own lane to make the play. Now, if Rogue aren't able to secure something, it won't work out, but with the Rift Herald and with Bwipo still sticking around the top side, this tower should certainly fall.
Yeah, and I mean, do you remember what I was saying about...
Oh, wait a second, they're teleporting behind. Fnatic want to fight this.
Teleport is coming in. There's a lot of members. First Dragon was picked up by Rogue. First tower was picked up by Rogue. That's already going to be some trouble as the quickness locks down too. Call of the Forge God comes out, and Horn does it all. Inspired will be able to chase him, but the Dragon's Rage has been used, and Bwipo surviving a lot. The Unleashed Power comes out. He's dead. Larssen takes him out. That's a defensive charge. I think it's called a retreat. In fact, now Finn, Inspired, and Larssen are going to do what they can to defend the tower. They got the objective, but they lose the players.
Yeah, Fnatic completely willing to go for that fight there, while Rogue had thought Fnatic were just ceding it. You know, Larssen was trying to get his recall off and everything too, so Fnatic are able to pick off a couple of kills. So you can see there was already a ward placed in the lane. The Bwipo does end up teleporting too, right after he gets a reset off too, so it's very, very nice. Meanwhile, Leona, Syndra recalling. Don't see the TP, so Hansama gets immediately punched, charmed, and bursted down without being able to fire off his ult. And there's not much Rogue can do from this point, other than kill Bwipo because he doesn't have passive and he runs under the tower without any abilities. Yeah.
You could say he overstepped a little in that scenario.
Sure,
but
that would be putting it lightly.
A lot of credit to Fnatic for picking up the kills, but let's not discount the fact that Rogue is still 1,000 gold up. Yep. I was talking about those stats, and I mentioned coming into this game, they had the highest first dragon, the highest first tower, and they managed to secure it. They also have the highest first blood across the league, and it almost happened, but that one Fnatic stole away today as Finn will continue to step forward. He's got himself that Tiamat, Sunfire Cape already completed for Bwipo, and looking down the list, big ticket items for Larssen, Nemesis, and Rekkles. And here comes Inspired, the stretching strike, and put enough distance for Bwipo to escape.
Yeah, without the tower there, Bwipo does have to be careful. Now Inspired should be able to just play for this dragon, knowing both duos are on the top side of the map. But the Hylissang sidesteps it. That almost ended badly.
Yeah, it almost did. Solar Flare was available for Vander. Now all of a sudden, Hansama gets caught out. The Lovers duo seem to be quarreling. Nothing further follows. True Shot Barrage was channeled and fired. That actually did hit Hansama. And our observers must be thinking something's happening there because you can see Finn, he was looking for that hook to land. Just very quickly, still 10 CS up in the mid lane, 20 CS up, sorry, 10 in the top lane, 20 in the mid, and Rogue start the second Drake.
Yeah, big difference has been that Larssen has had the push in mid so often, but finally Fnatic are able to respond in both dual lanes, sprinting over here, trying to fight for it. Okay.
Inspired kicks it the other way, and now all of a sudden Bwipo's in trouble. I think his passive might just be available. He's bouncing up and down, and he's got some unstable matter. Bwipo does get popped into a few. It's an Infernal Dragon next, and as the animation burns across, the Solar Flare comes down. Larsen's escaping with his life. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of Fnatic, and they are chasing for more.
Yeah, the bot lane of Fnatic has arrived, but they're not going to be able to chase them down just yet. It is once again Fnatic with the favorable fight, and Rogue securing the objective. Rogue are playing the map game, Fnatic are playing the let's fight game.
But now, what do you think is better? Because it's 3 kills and an assist for Nemesis on Ornn. It's 2 dragons and a tower for Rogue, and I want you to think about that as we watch this replay.
Yeah, so Inspired starts it off by punting Nemesis out of the pit, so we'll help him secure that dragon there, but gets immediately destroyed by the goat flying back over the wall from that Ornn, and then Bwipo too does get taken out here, and then watch how Larssen just waits till all the blobs stack up on top of each other and says, no, you're not getting back up.
Means he understands Zac mechanics, you know, how to counter it.
It's been
Good
a while
job.
since we've seen a Zac.
It has been, and it's been 3 years since it's been in the top lane. It's even weirder when it's there.
Yeah, you told me that already.
Yeah, I
You
know,
don't need
but
to-
I'm trying to keep up, you know. I'm waiting for Finn to do something fun on Kled, because I got a couple of Kled stats to throw away, but I wanted to earn them, right?
Dude,
so
he's
this
tried
is a
so
primer.
hard.
If you want to hear some fun Kled Finn stats, send him your energy, because I'm only saying it when he does something cool, right? Thank you, audience here in Berlin. I appreciate that. And for Rogue, 15 minutes have passed. Despite having the highest aggregate gold lead at 15, this game is much closer. It could have been higher had some of those early plays worked out, but Fnatic, they've been able to trade and actually outperform when it comes to the skirmishes.
Yeah, Fnatic have been very clearly on the same page when they are looking for fights, and this is another situation that's favoring them right now. If they commit to the Herald, they have 5 people circling around that objective inside the mid lane, while Finn thought he was going to rotate up. Instead said, well, I can just continue to push this tower down bot side, and while all he does is get a couple of chip damages down onto it, there are going to be minions. The cannon minion denied away from Bwipo here. So you can see him starting to extend that experience lead while the CS difference has remained largely neutral. Finn will still have the advantage there. And then what we want to see from him is his ability to convert that advantage in a side lane into roams towards mid. The Kled is so good at leaving lane and going and forcing fights. So Rogue should be looking to use that ability around numbers advantage.
Well, Larssen is in so much trouble because he's in a numbers disadvantage. He flashes away, but the Void Rush secures it. Now, all of a sudden, Inspired is backed up by Vander, looking at the minimap. Hans Summers flying his way down to mid lane. Selfmade's going to flash for his life. Dragon Rage is still up, and Inspired, you need to land the Q to follow the Lee Syndrome. Fnatic get their 6th kill of the game. They're not done sieging the tower yet, as they're going to push this one in. And now Finn, he's got the ultimate available. It is my favorite spell to yell. And
He's not going to go for it this time.
As I build it up, the play fizzles. Finn doesn't want to hear his stats on stream, it seems. And the game is now swinging in Fnatic's favor. They are the ones with the momentum. They are the ones with the Herald.
Okay, here, Larssen is respawning and does have the teleport. Rogue look like they want to fight for this. Maybe able to get Nemesis TP out as well. Now, after the fight, they do have mid-prio, so let's see what happens.
And of course, with the Fire Rift, the open spaces is exactly what Kled wants to see. Nemesis gets stunned up and he calls down the ultimate. Solar Flare is available. That's a 2-man knockup. Bwipo comes in, Larsen's in trouble. He gets pulled back from the stretching strike. That's a stun to Rekkles, but he's able to cleanse it out to safety. Bwipo takes out Larssen, and Rogue cannot use their initiation tools when you're running away. Vander uses that stopwatch to go gold and stays alive, and the charge comes in for a drive-by that does nothing, and Rogue lose another fight.
Once again, Fnatic with the heavy dive comp just put a target on Larsen's back and immediately eliminates him from the fight. They pick up the Herald at the same time too, so Fnatic, they're starting to build on this lead a whole lot more. See this fight one more time, because it starts out like this TP looks like Nemesis is about to be in a really tough spot, but he flashes away from a lot of the initial CC and then lands the 2-man knockup, catching out Larssen, who doesn't have flash. While Bwipo's E does not connect because he doesn't have enough points in that ability to have the extra range. We'll be waiting for level 13 for that. He does get the stretching strike to be able to CC that Syndra down and finish off that first kill for Fnatic.
So, Rogue, they need to find an initiation that'll work out for them. They haven't been able to do so yet. And we turn our attention to Fnatic, who are now dictating the control of the game. Fnatic, if they pick up a win, will be in sole control of second after the first round robin. I mean, you look at their win-loss against teams above them in the standings. 1 win and 2 losses. They were able to take out Misfits, but they lost to G2 and OG. They're 0-1 against teams they're even with, and obviously they've proved they are better than the bottom 4. But this is a game that they started falling a little behind, potentially, and have once again clawed their way back in.
Yeah, I mean, we heard Alfari talking about it in the interview before this game, too, right? Where he was like, I feel like G2 and us, OG, are sort of the top 2 at the moment, and then 3 is pretty open up for grabs as Fnatic start off another fight.
All right, that's the ultimate out of Hylissang. It goes golden for a moment or two, but man, you do not want to be there. The Feathers threat, maybe, is what dissuaded Fnatic from pushing further, and Hylissang escapes with his life, albeit at the cost of his ultimates. And Fnatic, as you mentioned, you know, what Alfari said, and Jankos echoed it as well. I was very direct, and I said, will any of these new teams, Misfits, Rogue, Mad Lions, the ones most likely to make finals? And he put it bluntly, no. On an individual level, they're just not good enough. And I'm interested to see what happens in the second half of the spring split. Rogue, their early game has blown my mind. Misfits 7-game losing streak. I don't know where it ends, but if they
winning streak.
Winning streak, thank you. 7-game winning streak. If Misfits pick up another win or 2 against the likes of Fnatic, OG, or G2, I'm bought in. I will be able to believe if they're able to go 2-0 against one of those teams, or even up 1-1 against Fnatic, maybe they are the real deal. You know, and obviously a best of 5 is a completely different kettle of fish.
Sure. Yeah, I think the younger teams just have to prove, you know, longevity now, right? We've seen them be strong in a whole lot of matches. I mean, Rogue is another team I had my eye on coming into the preseason here. Like, Rogue, I was thinking it could be a top 4 team contesting with Fnatic, and right now, both of these squads at 5 and 3, finishing off the first half of the season. This is going to be a good tell as to who has the better foot going into the second half.
So, how does Rogue regain control here? We've got ourselves the Fire Rift, and then 3 minutes to the next Infernal Drake. Baron is an objective. It feels to me as though Rogue have been caught out or surprised a lot. Outside of just, you know, be able to initiate, what direction do you want them to take for the next few minutes?
Honestly, it's a really hard game to play for the backline of Rogue because they have 2 champions that desperately need protection against a Zac and Ornn, a Rakan, all these dive tools on the side of Fnatic, and they don't have the greatest peel, right? Leona wants to go in. Kled wants to go in. Yes, you can use Lee Sin kick to knock people away, but you're gonna...
he wants to go in too.
Exactly. So you're gonna need to be very smart about how you, like, can you, you know, E back with Syndra and knock Zac out of his jump forward towards you. That needs to be, you know, locked down for Larssen. You need deep vision to be able to spot out potential engages and then just execute in these fights, especially if you have flash up. When Rogue have flash up on Larssen and Hylissang, you have a much better chance in the 5v4.
Now, Finn might just be killing himself. It's like 2 brothers fighting where the older brother just keeps smacking the younger brother with his own arm. The Thornmail and Sunfire Cape is doing a lot of work, but Vander and Larssen debating Selfmade. They waited in the wings. They saw him coming down with the ward, and Finn now has got support to force Bwipo to flash.
Yeah, Bwipo has to flash away. Now, Fnatic are gaining pressure in both top lane and mid lane, but it's not enough to deny minions or start hitting a tower or anything like that. So Rogue find the nice pick, as you said, with Vander sitting inside of that bush, and now they're going to be able to go back, pick things up, get some control back on this map, and that, as you were asking earlier, is how they start to get back into this match.
All right, so get some control and then make the decisions. Look at the mini-map and pay attention to when Larssen and Vander, they stop moving.
Yeah, so they're just tracking this fight all the way down to the bot lane because, yeah, Finn's fighting a losing battle right now. It doesn't make much sense for him to keep on trading here, but baiting in some support.
Actually, I missed the fact that Selfmade flashed as well, so 2 flashes and a kill.
Oh, yeah, let's see it again.
There we go,
sure,
that's the ward. That's it, thank you.
Give it to me. Oh.
Yeah, we did see that. I mean, I mentioned it, guys. Like, you know, the fans believe me. I wasn't lying.
Oh, no, and as he comes over the wall, that's when he sees the footsteps. He's no. And he only saw the one, so he thought it was just Larssen.
There you go.
Not that it would have made a big difference. I think he still dies. But...
I accept the fact I didn't say the Rek'Sai passive gave someone away, but like I can't see that animation. So, nevertheless, Fnatic, they still maintain control despite losing their member. It's 1,000 gold up. It's 23 minutes in. 0-0-4 for both bot laners. On Fnatic, 2 items completed for them, and working towards that Infinity Edge for Hylissang. 2 items for Larssen in that middle lane, and despite some modicum of control, that pick still lost them a tower, right? 2 towers apiece 40 seconds to Infernal has to be the next fight.
Yeah, and as you're talking about, flashes are back up on Larssen and Hansama. Now, note primarily because there's been so much armor built in the top lane by Bwipo, he really wants to try and find Larssen at the start of the fight. If you eliminate the magic damage, Finn, Inspired, and Hansama are just going to kill themselves by auto-attacking onto that Zac. It's going to be really, really tough.
And both of them have got Forge Fire capes as well. You know, the Ornn value add on top of those two crucial itemization options from Fnatic. They are the ones with the vision control. They are the ones with the wave pushing and moving them away to the river. Look at the minimap as well. Upgraded Trinity Force for Rekkles on the Ezreal. So that Ornn value you were talking about, he's giving additional damage to the rest of the team. So these team fights are going to get very, very exciting. And Rogue, they're not even going to contest.
Yeah, the nice thing about Rogue picking up the first two Drakes is that they don't feel super pressured to fight Fnatic for these when you consider Fnatic's comp very, very strong at the moment with, you know, like tanks on 2 items, like their base scaling, you know, around level 9, around level 13 when you have 2 base abilities max, their damage is surprisingly high with the Zac jumping at you and Ornn doing a very similar thing. So I feel like Rogue want more items under their belt as the AP scaling, so getting crit multipliers on your ADC are just going to give you a better and better chance.
Remind me as well, but Bwipo's unstable matters percentage HP as well, so that's going to be very valuable. Finn, again, why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself? That Thorn Mail is doing so much. Selfmade's waiting by Skarl has decided to retreat, and that's going to be another kill. Finn, my man, I really want to give you some stats. 0-3-2.
He thought he was baiting Bwipo, he was just baiting himself.
There we go.
Right there, the rest of his team not able to give him a hand.
Well, and I want to ask the question I said earlier, but now from the Fnatic perspective. They're in the lead. They've got a 2,000 gold advantage. Larssen is in trouble. Scout of the Week comes out, and that'll knock Selfmade away.
Oh, he has damage. He has damage.
Get caught up, and he's going to unleash all his power onto Bwipo's face, but there's just not enough damage. Fnatic, they started the Baron. If they secure this, my question is answered. The question was, what do they do next? Well, they push waves of Baron.
Yeah, now Rogue have spotted out, so they should back away. Nemesis has the ulti. Just waiting to try and press that. Bwipo inside the base too with teleport, with home guards. Was considering the option of going for some sort of a flank there on that Zac. But without the ultimate, Fnatic are just going to be comfortable to take river control now and continue pushing out their waves.
And good luck pushing into Baron Pit when they have an Ornn, a Rakan, and a Zac.
Yikes.
If you group up at all, that is it. You are tickets. Even my gold brain can understand that. And Fnatic they're playing with, they've got great vision. They've, you know, managed their waves healthily, and they've started it off.
Yeah, Hylissang on the flank here too is going to be super, super crucial. No flash, no ultimate on Larssen. If he gets caught, the fight is lost for Rogue.
Kled is all the way in the bottom lane. Teleport's available. Bwipo goes in, is kicked right back out. Call of the Forge God comes down and simply doesn't do enough, but Hansama's running for his life. Flashes aplenty. Hilly, he gets the charm. It's a trade of supports for now, but Selfmade, he escapes with his life. He survives. The tunnel keeps him out. Finn gets dismounted, and now Bwipo continues to chase. He's left bouncing all up in Rogue's face. He continues to chase down. Hansama stays alive. Hansama runs away. Not until Rekkles flashes and takes him down. The ace is on the cards, and Rekkles sends him packing with a Quadra.
Rekkles gets the Quadra, and Fnatic will surely find the Baron off of that play. They found the dive. Hylissang risking it all, throwing his body into Rogue to get that initiation down because they tried to track that for so long. Look in this fight how far back Larssen plays. That's who Fnatic want to hit, but instead they settle for the front line, baiting out Hansama's ultimate and flash at the start, and that's when Hylissang says, I'm just going to go ahead and jump on in here. I think there was an ultimate flying through from Selfmade as well to find the dive, but at the end of the day, Bwipo is just too tanky, and Rekkles cannot be hit because Rogue have to kite back in the fight. Larssen cannot get the damage down, cannot finish off Rekkles, and if they can't get Rekkles, well, they're just not going to be able to turn it around.
Absolutely, and we're not super late game yet. 2-3 items.
Oh, does he auto the tower? Oh, I thought he was going to auto the tower too to pull back Larssen. Just really add insult to injury.
That would have been fantastic. I absolutely love the stretching strike. It's one of the more entertaining. What is that damage?
Yeah, so
fantastic.
Just Ezreal things.
Hey, you told me Ornn does damage, but he didn't really get a chance, right?
I mean, everyone dodged his ulti. It wasn't really his fault.
Definitely the case. Now, Finn, charge will be available in a few seconds' time. Hilly's waiting to dive him. Rekkles and Nemesis coming as well. Call the Forge Guards up. Finn's going to be able to avoid the knock-up for now, and charging all the way into Nemesis. Skarl is in so much trouble. He's able to escape Not the Clint, though.
Fnatic thrive in the chaos. There's no vision on the map for Rogue right now. Finn just thinks, oh, I can go side lane, I can pick up gold. No, Fnatic see the target, and they pounce on the attack. They're still pushing down in bot side while Rogue try to go on Bwipo, but he's so tanky.
This is real bold. That's
you have no damage.
Mail, Forge Fire Cape, and you've got a Larssen, and yes, Xayah arrived late, but I call hashtag not worth on that one. Bwipo takes sub 800 HP damage. The inhibitor is taken down, and it is falling to pieces for Rogue. Those early game trip-ups may have had echoes and ramifications this whole game long. Fnatic have just outplayed the skirmishes, are in absolute control.
I don't think Fnatic have lost a fight this entire game, starting off with that teleport down in the bottom lane in classic Fnatic fashion. They're just going for another dive.
They are indeed. That's a double knock-up. Larssen and Finn. The engage comes out from Vander. Don't you wish you had a solar flare, my friend? Hylissang with the quickness sends Vander back to the fountain. Finn goes back as well, and he's in so much trouble. Stretching strike, where's the target from Bwipo? Will not find it. 2 members down, the bot lane of Rogue die, and Fnatic, they might just push for, for the win.
They're not going to, though, Trev.
I am
Catch your
screaming
breath.
so much, I'm literally losing my voice.
They want more stats. They're going back for the Infernal Drake. Rekkles should be able to solo that one off himself, and now that they've broken 2 inhibitors, the Baron will be timing out, but they should still be able to siege up top side. Look at this fight one more time, because like under the tower, like normally teams just use the Ornhorn to zone away the enemy squad. Fnatic say, well, we can just fight because Vander tries to go for the initiation. Strange place for Rogue to try and draw the line right there, but again, Fnatic, their front line is absolutely unkillable. No matter how many, tank shredding items Rogue's squad tries to build, it's just not enough to get through these hyper-fed, level 17 Zac, level 16 Ornn. You just can't do it.
Yeah, but also none of the fights have been on their terms. Rogue have been in the situation where they were trying to push into a Baron. They were trying to push on the bottom lane, and Fnatic have just been so prepared to get scrappy and engage and fight back, and it's been fantastic.
I also just feel like Fnatic seem very decisive, right? From that player on the bottom lane. Like,
yes.
Sometimes to a fault, right? Bwipo running under that tower and just dying for no reason, but as a team, they are playing together. When they say fight, they go fight, and Rogue looks scattered.
Yeah, they really do. The kickback was decent, but it doesn't matter. Bwipo's just so tanky. It will not impact him. That's a knock-up onto Larssen. The Brittle's available. Solar Flare comes down. Defensive flash from Larssen, and Vander was sent back to the fountain. Let's bounce once again all over Rogue. 18 kills, 19 kills, and one more available. The stretching strike catches on Inspired.
Oh, Penta!
Wow.
Penta!
Looking for it, look for the dive. Not going to get it just yet. Are they going to think about it? Rekkles is chasing, is looking for it. The Arcane Shift is available to him, but
Come on! Come on!
Oh, the BM not going to do it. Is it earned? I think it is. The GA gets popped as well. Rekkles
He has 5 seconds. He has 5 seconds for the kill.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
He got it.
He gets it. Pentakill. Rekkles will be joining us for BGL, and I'm sure he will talk about that win. Finn's stats will have to wait. But here's a fun one. Zac top in the LEC all time. 4 wins and 4 losses. Fnatic are in a 2-game Zac top streak with a 3-year gap between victories.
Who cares about the Zac top lane? How many pentakills does Rekkles have in his career now? The man just keeps raking them up.
I have one more quick stat to tell you why it is important, Ender.
Tell me.
Until the pentakill, until the final fight, it was Bwipo Zac that did the most damage to champions in the entire game. Fnatic takes 2nd place in the standings as far as numbers are concerned, but with a tie at the top of the table, they are 3rd numerically. 6 wins, 3 losses, and Fnatic are victorious, denying us the high five on the caster desk. There we go. Thank you, gentlemen. Congratulations. Very nicely done.
That was the saddest attempt to get a high five from pro players I've ever seen, Trev.
I had to beg. But I need to turn my attention to Rogue because their early game had the flavor of the Rogue flair. but it just didn't land. Fnatic were able to push back.
Yeah, I mean, Fnatic, as we said before, looked way more decisive around these engagements, really working as a team to go for this heavy dive comp and isolate the Rogue backline. It looked really, really good, and honestly, watching Fnatic play the game is just fun right now. You look at Bwipo's champ pool in the top lane, Swain, Rengar, Singed, now the Zac too, he does it all. Nemesis in the mid lane, on tank duty, but still finding kills, and Rekkles with kills.
I'm going to paraphrase, but I think Bwipo on socials in an interview said something like, top lane doesn't suck, you're just... And he's one of the members of the Kia player of the game. You can vote from at LEC along with Nemesis and Rekkles. That was another very, very entertaining, very fun game to watch. And it was particularly impressive for me to see how Fnatic handled Rogue's pressure in the early game. It was Rogue making the first few plays. They got the first tower. They got the first dragon. Finn almost got the first blood, but Fnatic didn't care.
Yeah, I mean, Fnatic were just like, hey, Nemesis, can you come up to top lane real quick? We're going to get the kill. Hey, Bwipo, you want to TP bot? Like,
yes.
As a team, this team is really looking in sync right now.
And it's very exciting because Rekkles is going to be joining us on PGL, so stay tuned for that one. But yeah, Fnatic, they take third place, technically. G2 and Misfits sitting at the top of the table. We saw Mad Lions go down today. We saw Rogue lose as well. So that battle for first that we set up at the beginning of the day is now looking a little smaller.
And they're just one game down too, right? It's like the top of the table because of, I mean, G2's miserable week 4 is a whole lot closer in the standings, which means that now as we go into the second half of the split, it's just going to be more and more important as we see teams really try to divide from the rest of the pack.
The first round robin is wrapped up, and for more on today's action as well as the beginning of the split, let's head over to Shock